Alrighty, it is Acez with you here from Acez Top 10 Takeaways and my boy Big Lang from Content 12, and we're here to deliver to you Shotcast Episode 3. And today we're here to talk to you about how to execute on a mission, how to execute flawlessly on a mission, or how about how to just get shit done. And we're talking about anything, from planning a perfect day, to planning an event, to executing on a promotion, to executing on something with your family, to getting healthy, whatever it is. Just how do you get that shit done? What do you do? What do the most successful people do? What are we talking about here today, Lang?
Yeah, listen, I think we have a lot of ideas in this world that float around, and I think what separates some of the people that you're talking about is their ability to execute, and can they put a plan into motion and learn from that experience for the next plan. A lot of ideas stay on the cutting room floor, and I think that's what we want to talk about today is what are the steps, what are the actions, what is the planning that needs to be involved in actually executing on a plan and executing on a mission. And so whether you, like Alex said, whether it's big or small, or it's a military mission, or it's getting married, or going on vacation, or getting a promotion, there's different levels. But I think no matter what the level, big or small, some of the same principles apply. And so why don't you let us know, man, what is something that's important to you when it's time to deliver and execute on a mission, big fella?
Yeah, I mean, I think something that's important in executing on anything in your life is preparation. You know, I think it all starts with preparation. So if you want to get something done, you got to prepare for it. Once you prepare for something and you actually write down the steps and you map it out and you visualize and you get a plan together, that's the first part of it. But then getting up and executing is the second part of it. So I guess there's a fine line between, planning stuff and actually doing stuff. And you got to find the happy median. If you ask me which one is more important to execute perfectly on a mission, I'd say it's always doing, right? Just keep doing. Because the more and more you do, the more and more you learn. And if you could do more than you plan, you're going to learn more. Planning is also essential because once you plan for something, you're actually mapping it out and you're visualizing it and you're getting it together. So if you want an example of this, it's how I attack my day every single day. I treat my calendar like a puzzle. Every single morning, well, actually I do this in the evening before, but I review it again in the morning. But I look at my next day in my calendar. And when I look at this day, I actually map things out in blocks. And every 30 to 60 minutes of my day is scheduled with something. Whether it's having a one-on-one with somebody, huddling up my team, making a phone call, checking up on a family member, getting my wife some flowers, whatever it is scheduled in my calendar. That way I don't got to go to sleep with all these crazy thoughts in my head. I know it's all scheduled out. It's all mapped out for me tomorrow. And all I got to do is wake up and execute on it. There is no thought involved, so you actually save your brain some willpower. You don't got to be thinking about all these decisions all day. Like a perfect example of that is like, what am I going to eat today? Like if I pack my lunch every single day, that's taking out one piece of the thought process out of the day for me that I don't got to think about no more. And I can focus on other things throughout that day. So planning is important. And for me, it's like one easy example is just planning out that calendar because I live by it every single day.
Let me ask you a question. You mentioned something and you were listing some of the things on your calendar. It sounded like to me that your calendar at work involves business, but it also involves personal.
Correct. It's not only at work.
Right.
I plan the weekends as well.
I think it's important to know because I bet if you polled 1,000 people, I bet most people, if they're talking about their calendar at work, it's got work stuff on it. And I'll figure the home life stuff when I get home or on the fly or stuff like that, but that's not you. You involve them both, and I think it's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, work takes up a lot of time, and it's hard to separate things. And it's not only for work. A lot of people ask me on the weekends, why you always got things planned out on the weekends. That's how I get my stuff done on the weekends. Even when I take an off day off work, it's amazing, man. You schedule things on an off day at work. I'm working 10, 11, 12 hours a day. And when I have that one off day, I accomplished like 62 things by 10 o'clock at night. And it's crazy the amount of time you have in a day to do those things. Now, on the other end of things, when you don't plan for things, you just wake up and you come into a day and, I got to do this and this goes this. The day ends up running you. It runs you to the damn ground. And if you don't run your day into the ground, the day's going to run you into the ground. So you always got to have a plan. And that's just a small example for your day, but that could go for anything. Planning an event, planning your wedding, planning a birthday, executing on a promotion. What do you got to do to get to that promotion? What are you going to do today? What are you going to do tomorrow? And what are you going to do at night? And what are you going to do in the morning? It all goes into that preparation. So that's one big part of it to me. And the second part is executing on that preparation, or else everything is worthless.
I think when some of the folks that we know, we've had a chance to bump into over the years, that maybe the senior leaders or whatnot, I really don't think people throw out the term work-life balance a lot, and I appreciate it, and I know it's important. Your family at home, and maybe young ones, or mom and dad, or whatever it is. Yeah, man, it's important to have time for that. But I've always been of the, I guess, the thought that there is no work-life balance. There's just life. And if you separate those two, then they end up fighting each other, right? And it becomes oh my gosh, I'm doing this at work, so I can't get home. Or maybe even what you brought up, I can't take the extra 7 minutes before I leave to prepare for the next day, look at my calendar and work things out, because I got to get home, because I'm going to get in trouble with my people at home if I'm not home at a certain time. And I get it. I mean, listen, there's some stressful days, but I feel like if you intertwine those two, maybe introduce them to each other, get them involved with each other, then maybe they're a little more forgiving than you think. And you can take those 7 extra minutes, because it's going to be able to make things for that day off that you talked about that involve that. I just think it's important that you combine them, man. And I hear this term all the time, work-life balance. I don't even know what that is. It's just you live a life, and sometimes work is heavy and demands your attention. And sometimes you got stuff going on at home that demands your attention. And if they cooperate, you'll be able to do both. And they won't have to fight. I don't know, just a thought, man.
No, I feel you 100%. I mean, with work-life balance, to me, I get what you're saying. Everything's in one. But to me, there is a special feeling when I get home from work. Sometimes I like to block out everything at that door when I walk into the door.
No doubt. That's life, though.
That's life, though. But this is a different life than what's at the business,
Mm-hmm.
It's I separate it, but I also try to make it work together, if that makes sense. I separate it, and it means where I try to forget and not forget. I try to separate what I'm thinking about and drop the mindset of the business when I get into the house, so I could focus and actually be in the present moment here.
100%.
And then when I'm at work, I try to drop everything that's going on in my personal life, be in the present moment there. So as far as work-life balance, that's where I balance it out as far as my focus and being there in the present moment.
Yeah, no doubt. Here's why I bring it up, is because your thing is preparation, and I know you, and I know you prepare, and I know you're up at 5 a.m, and because you have a place to be, you have a destination, right? So you're willing to sacrifice those things, but that preparation takes time, and I feel like most of us in the world are constantly running. We don't prepare like we should, and so I don't have 7 minutes, 10 minutes to look at my schedule and whatever. I got to get home. But you are different, and I think your message is different, because the preparation that it takes helps your family life, and the preparation that you do helps your work life, and allows you to execute on the mission. Preparation is huge.
Yeah, I mean, it depends who you're talking to. When you say you don't have 7 to 10 minutes to prepare for your next day, I challenge you and say, what are you doing all day?
Fair enough.
And what did you waste your time doing all day? And where'd you invest your time? And how'd you split it up? And did you have a plan for this day? Because if you didn't have a plan for today, it's going to be hard to make a plan for tomorrow, because the day was probably running you all day.
No doubt.
For me, it's if I don't make a plan, I'm going to fail the next day. So in order to not fail, I have to make a plan. Is it because I'm OCD? It might be a little because I'm OCD, but it's also because I like to have a structure to my day, so I know exactly what's going on. And like I said, I do the same exact thing for the weekends when I don't have any work at all. Even when I'm on vacation, I have some things I want to get done on vacation, I'll plan it out, because once you put it out there in front of you, it's more likely to happen. I mean, you hear these millionaires, these billionaires. Grant Cardone, still told today, he says that he writes his goals down every single day. He knows his goals. He could print them out on a poster and hang them up on his wall. He could listen to him in the audio, but he doesn't. He gets up every single morning. He rewrites them down. He rewrites them down. He rewrites them down. As a matter of fact, does it at night too. He said in the morning and at night. So if you got a guy like that that's very successful doing it, I mean, the law of attraction, it means something, right? Writing something down and actually putting it in front of you does something. That's just for planning out your day, right? And trying to execute. We're talking about executing on a mission flawlessly, executing on anything you want to get in your life. What do you do to get shit done, right? So that's just one key to it, is preparing. I'll move on to my second key now, which is doing, right? I was telling you I sent Gary Vee a message the other day, and he answered me, and I was asking him about two different kind of posts on Instagram. Do I post in the TV mode where I get 3 to 5 minutes of action and nobody has to swipe to the right? Or do I post in the regular mode, 60 seconds, but I can put some hashtags and get some more viewers? And he responded to me, and he told me, just keep doing. Who gives a shit about the post? Who gives a shit about this or that or hashtags or not? Just keep doing and doing and doing and doing. And when you keep doing and doing, you keep learning and learning, and you fail and you grow and you fail and you grow, and you're eventually going to find it. Something's going to pop off. So at the same time, like, I've been a victim. I know a lot of people have been a victim. You talk to a trainer, you go online, you get the healthy diet, you even go to Kroger and you buy some shit and you put it in your fridge. And 2 days later, you're eating snacks again. So you prepared, you did all the preparation, but when it came to the action, you failed. And guess what? That preparation that you did is now a waste of time. So how do you differentiate the two?
It's tough, man. Listen, I bet I've been there. I planned on meal prepping and all that stuff, bought all the stuff, got through a couple days, and then before you know it, it's Thursday, and I'm eating a sub and some cheese bread, right? So
The struggle's real.
and so listen, I think that's you're right. Preparation is so key, but the actual doing and the accomplishing the mission, there's definitely some other hurdles that pop in there. So I think you have some good intentions when you prepare and you're at home and it's a nice controlled environment and you say, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this. And then you get into work and there's like 5 alarm fire. And so when I'm curious, because when that happens and there is that chaos sometimes at work, how do you stay on your plan? Like how do you stay from the planning that you had when something interrupts that? Because I think a lot of us mortals, not you, the mortals of the world, when something bumps you off, man, it's tough to get back on that plan. How do you do that, bro?
Are you talking about specifically during your day it bumps you off? Or are you talking about, okay, so I think it's very important that you just have like a little shutdown restart ritual. So something hits you off guard. Maybe you get a family call, some shit's going down. You're supposed to be at a meeting or you're supposed to be preparing for something else, and that happens. You got to just shut down and restart. Sorry, this just happened. Take it all in. What just happened? I got a phone call. This and this happened. I planned that. When I get home from work, I'm going to do this, this, and this. I'm going to squeeze this right here, right? You move a couple things around, and you get back to your day. What do I have to do? What do I got to finish? Just continue where you left off instead of just throwing your whole day away. So when something comes and throws you off guard, instead of just throwing it all away and saying, hey, you got one good jab on me, so I'm throwing in the towel. Like, no, fight back, finish your day, finish your plan. And whatever happened, replan that out so you could take care of that too. You got to think, I mean, you ever play that Brickles game on the computer?
No.
It's an old school game, man.
I don't know.
Brickles. Nobody played Brickles, man. One of my favorite games. I almost got kicked out of
What is
for
it?
playing that game too long. Man, it's a little bar, right? And you move it with the mouse. It slides like this. Then you got the bricks, and there's a little ball coming down. And you got to land the ball on the brick.
Break the. I got it.
And you got to break all the bricks. It's called Brickles,
I know
right?
what you're talking about.
Even Tetris, like that. That's the kind of analogy I'm trying to use, but that's how I treat the plan and the calendar. Like, that's how I treat it. I try to, like, literally fill it in second by second. And the feedback that I've gotten in the past is I fill it up too much where I'm overwhelmed. That happens. So I'm trying to take away a little, take a little bit out of it and try to get some breathing room in it where I have half an hour gap, 40-minute gap, 20-minute gap, just in case something happens, like you're saying. So that's also a good takeaway there, is just to put a little gaps in your schedule, put a little gaps in your plan, so you have some time to move things around.
Yeah, maybe even out of the 10 things, 20 things, whatever it is that you plan to accomplish that day, maybe you're not going to go 20 for 20. Maybe somebody is going to body you out of one of those things. But I think where most of us struggle is we get to number 5 and somebody bodies us out and then we're done with the plan.
Yeah.
I think your point is, okay, take a breath, go, do a walk around, whatever, and then, okay, so maybe 6 and 7 aren't going to get done, but 8 through 20 still need to.
Correct. So try to continue. And even if you don't, and your plan gets debacled and it's over and it's like crushed, start the next day fresh and try to do it again.
Yeah.
But don't just stop trying to do that plan. You familiar with Jordan Peterson?
I am.
He's a good guy. He has a lot of good podcasts out there and a lot of good speeches. One of the things that he says about the calendar, he says people treat it like a prison. They treat it like a prison, like, oh, I don't want to do that, and I don't want to do that, and I don't want to do that. He's like, it's not a prison. You could even schedule your leisure in your calendar. You could say, if I do A, B, and C, I'm going to go on my couch and play video games for an hour and put that in your calendar. Now you have something there that's rewarding to you, and your brain starts reading that as rewarding, and you start seeing it as accomplish A, B, and C, and I get the reward. And you can start rewarding yourself and putting that in your calendar as well. So it's not all punishments. You could have your date nights in there. You could have other things in there. That's as far as the calendar is concerned and planning your day. When it comes to accomplishing a mission, what else comes to mind other than just planning out a day?
Well, listen, I think being a leader for 20 years now, it's a while. I think leaders have a prevalent problem, challenge. And as a leader, you're responsible for a lot. And people say, hey, this didn't get done. What's going on? You're the one that needs to own that. And so we have real trouble giving up control, man. We need to do it all of ourselves. We need to put the pawns in place and the bishops in place and the rooks in place and all of that. And part of it is a self-fulfilling prophecy, because when it's all done and it works, we want people to say, man, Lang is the man. Even though Lang is the only one that did it. So I think one of the biggest challenges of leadership is relinquishing control. And I'm not just talking about at work. I'm talking about in life, right? I would like to think I have a leadership role in my household. I'm supposed to be providing and teaching and giving lessons and all of those things. And so there's definitely a leadership role that I have. And sometimes we all have a problem giving up that control. And so I guess to answer your question, sorry to take so long to get there, I think we just need to involve others more. There's no way to accomplish some of the plans that you talked about, planning a wedding or getting a promotion. It's not just you that's going to do it all. There are going to be some people that play integral roles in that journey, in that mission. And so the sooner you realize that and you get them involved in it, now you might have 2 or 3 people that are involved in your mission. And the more the merrier, man. If you get 3, 5, 20, 100, 500 people, and they're all trying to accomplish the same mission, good luck stopping that group. And so to me, if you really want to accomplish a mission, most of the time it's not going to be done alone. But a lot of us have a problem with that. We want to be the controller. Maybe we're struggling with the mission, or when we plan it out, we think, how the heck am I going to get this done? Mm-hmm. And so involving others, to me, in my life, has been a huge part of it. And maybe that also means I got to give some of the accolades to somebody else. And maybe early in my career, I didn't want to do that. But now, man, the more the merrier, man. I want people to be able to play a part and be bought in to where we're headed and what the mission is. So whether you're talking about an infantry and you're trying to take a hill, maybe the general is the one you know and it shows up on TV. But what about all the soldiers and the colonels and the captains that were part of that? If they don't delegate and give ownership out, that mission's not being accomplished.
Yeah. No, I agree with that, getting people involved into the mission. And that kind of tags back to last week's podcast on environment. Or 2 weeks ago, podcast on environment. Or Shotcast on environment. Sorry, I got to get that.
Watch it.
Shotcast. We ain't doing no podcast over here.
Nope.
It's a Shotcast. It's a shot of inspiration, motivation, education to get you through your day. Shotcast. But yeah, we did the Shotcast episode 1 on environment, and that's what you talk about now. You're saying about filling up your environment with people that could actually help you out, help you get things done, and the more people you put in your circle, the better it's going to be. So I agree with that. Now, missions come in all forms, right? You have small missions as far as I want to lose weight, I want to get promoted, and you have big missions as far as like I want to be the number one company in the world. I want to have the tallest building. I want to have the best sales company. What do you think these missions have in common? Because everybody wants to get things done, and whether our audience is somebody that's trying to get something done for themselves individually, or whether it's someone that's trying to get something done for a big group together or for a business, what do those things have in common? For someone that wants to accomplish a mission on a small scale and does it and succeeds at it, and you look at someone that accomplishes a mission on a large scale and does it and succeeds at it, we know the differences. One of the differences is probably this guy up here or this gal up here needs to get people in their circle to help them out and get more buy-in and delegate. The person down here doing one little individual thing as far as like getting promoted or maybe losing some weight, maybe they could do it on their own. Those are differences. What are some things you think they have in common, these two people that find success with these paths?
Yeah, well, listen, I think the two things we brought up today, it's interesting because, yeah, while the person might be able to, lose some weight like you talked about, um, I think that they can achieve their goal quicker. They can feel better about themselves if they do involve other people, right? And so I really think that preparation and inclusion, I guess we're talking about, or uh, passing out ownership, I believe that those are two huge things that can be involved in the person that just alone wants to excel at work and the person that wants to start their own company and win. I believe those two things are huge keys. There's probably others. There's no doubt about it. But if I want to come in and I don't know, sell 15 widgets today, and that's just my personal goal, or there's a certain sales goal if I'm in retail or whatever the deal is. Yes, I can do some calisthenics in the morning. I can get a coffee. I can get up early. I can leave early so I don't have to run through traffic to get to work, and I can get my little motivational podcast on the way in, and I can be ready to go. But I'm going to be sitting around a bunch of other people that are going to do the same thing or try to do the same thing.
Do they though?
Maybe not, but they have the same. But the boss puts the same goals out. We all
Yeah.
need to sell 15 widgets today, and if I want to do well and maybe even do better than that, most people they're not going to involve anybody. That's my competition. I want to do better than them. I want to get the shine, and I would just suggest that getting them involved in the mission as well is important, because if you have 15 people that all need to sell 15 widgets, man, just imagine if you had a great line and I adopted it as well. The company does better. We all hit our 15. Maybe we go out for a nice, I don't know, after party or whatever the deal is, and then we can't wait to get to work. Or we cannot share it all. We cannot talk about our goals or share best practices, and you might hit one person that hits it. And then I'm starting to judge and question that person. Well, they're not working hard. I don't even know that. And so that's why I think it really, no matter what level you're talking about, if you're just an individual person trying to do your thing, or if you're the big boss, and you have to have involvement. To think that you can be the one that takes this company to the promised land by yourself, man, that's not a chance. You've got to have people that you empower that maybe even will replace you one day. We always talk about, develop your own replacement.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that maybe if your company is lucky enough to be around 20 years, you're so far removed, you don't even know what the heck's going on the day to day. Folks running the trains are the ones with passion because you empowered them and you trusted them. And screw work. Let's not even talk about work. Let's talk about, I don't know, a wedding. You got married recently. Does wedding take a little planning there, big fella?
Oh yeah, a lot of preparation.
Oh my gosh.
Well, with all the preparation, it doesn't even matter.
Hey man,
Shit
listen,
fell
stuff
apart.
always pops up.
Yeah.
No matter how and listen, it doesn't mean preparation is not hugely important. But you know there's always going to be one or two things
Yeah.
that are beyond your control. Like it was not a cool day at your wedding.
No.
It was rather
The hottest
warm.
day, the hottest day in Michigan, I think.
And so listen, man, you got people that want things to go right and care about you guys greatly. And one thing I thought you did is you involved us, man. You involved us and said, "This is what I need." You didn't even really ask. You were like, "You getting the speakers laying?" Like, and so of course I got it. I felt some duty and responsibility. I better deliver, man, because I have some serious ownership. And I'll tell you, I don't even know if you know this, but when I got to the venue and I have these huge speakers on the hottest day of the year, by the way, in a suit, carrying them over there. And I talked to the guy and I said, just by the way, we have power over there in the gazebo, right? And he's like, no. What?
Yeah.
And so, anyways, long story short,
I didn't know that.
This guy that was like, no, we don't. I said, well, you need to get some. And you need to call the city and turn this power. And sure enough, by the time we got there, not only did we have power, but he had lugged the speakers from where I put them out to the gazebo by himself. He gave me a cross-eyed look about it, but it was done.
Yeah.
So if you wouldn't have shared that with me or given me something to do, I don't know if we would have power, big fella. We'd have been yelling real loud. There'd been no microphone.
But I shared it with you, and you did that.
Yeah,
because
man.
you're solution focused. But how about this? If I shared it with a couple other people, maybe they would have just called me and say, "Hey, man, we got no speakers. You better yell when you get here.
Well,
you better
listen,
say your vows in screaming fashion."
You can look at that one of two ways. At least you knew early enough. I wasn't maybe I wasn't the one that challenged the guy to get on the phone with the city, but I'd have told you at 10 o'clock. So then you would have got somebody else and empowered them. So it still matters. And so if I go back to the preparation part of it, I know for sure that creating owners inside of your organization or your family is a key component to making sure that whatever your mission is handled. Whether it's getting homework done on time when the kids would rather watch the Pistons or The Voice or whatever it is, if it's mapped out and this is the way the expectations are set, that preparation is key. And so I know that involving others and that preparation is key to that mission.
I'm with it. Well, you're taking me down another rabbit hole now. Because after that happened on the hottest day of the year on the wedding, we also had a party bus that the air conditioner broke on.
Oh my God.
And it was boiling hot. And my wife
was amazing.
My wife was crying, and she was about to have a faint. She was having a heat stroke. And what did I do? Off the top of the head, I literally start calling up every single lounge or bar or hookah place that I know the owners of until somebody answers me. And somebody answered me. And it was only 4 or 5 o'clock, and I said, "I'll rent out your whole place right now. My party bus broke down on my wedding. I need a place to come sit at the air condition." And we found a place, and it took us there within the hour. Imagine that never happened. So I mean, I'm with what you're saying. You're saying that you got to involve as much people as possible to accomplish a mission. I'm with that, and I'm going to do that, and I've been doing that. Maybe I could do that a little more at work, and I'm going to keep doing that. What I'm saying is, people like me and you, goes back to the plan. When something debacles your plan, the air conditioner broke down, the hottest day, there's no electricity. Do you just let that happen, or do you look for that solution? And that could tie into the trait that's similar between the guy that's doing it on a big scale, or the gal doing it on a big scale, or the gal or the guy doing it on a small scale when trying to execute or get any shit done. Are you the type of person that one thing goes wrong and it's like, oh my God, it's all over? Or do you think quick on your head? Are you quick? Are you slick? Do you get the next idea or the next plan? Do you execute on it? Because just talking about that wedding, that just reminds me of two key components that day. One of them being no electricity. You called the city, had them turn on the power on the Saturday. And the other one with the party was having no air condition. I get a lounge rented out for us. We literally closed down a hookah lounge, brought our own drinks in there, and had our own party.
That's one of the parts of the day that I remember the most, man. We had so much fun in there. We had the whole place to ourselves. Everybody was dancing. We almost had a wedding before the wedding.
Exactly. And then tie it back into what you're trying to do and what you're trying to execute on.
No
when something ruins your plan for the day, are you like, something ruined my plan, my day sucks? Or are you like, all right, that got ruined. What could I do now? What could I switch? What do I call? Are you quick on your feet like that? Are you always looking for solutions and trying to keep moving forward? Like people ask me, man, how do you do it? How do you do it? How do you let the negativity affect you? Man, I'm in the zone. I'm just trying to get the next thing. What's next? What's next? What's next? What's next? Purpose is up here, right? They know their drive, whether it's a person that's trying to do it on a large scale, the person trying to do it on a small scale. They know their purpose. They have that drive, and they're looking to execute and look for solutions.
And I tell you, listen, I've shared things with you before, and I might have been in that spot where I hit a snag, hit a roadblock. Maybe I was bummed out. And out of the blue, the world is funny how it works sometimes. Out of the blue, I'll get a text from you and say, hey, how we doing? And it gets me right back on track. So that's why it's so important to share that, because if I would have never shared with you what I was trying to do, you wouldn't have known. You wouldn't have sent the text to check on me, and this might be spinning out of control at that point.
100%.
So, man, the preparation and the sharing, I think, man, are paramount when it comes to the mission.
This is good. This is real good. So we talked about a lot of good things here.
We did.
We talked about how to get shit done. We talked about preparation for getting things done. You talked about involving other people.
Yeah.
I talked about executing, right? Right on the spot. No thought process in mind, just doing. Yeah. Something goes wrong, what do you do?
Overthink it.
Do you fold up in a corner and like cry and shiver, or do you get shit done and do you reach out for the next plan, the next execution? Like if you ever watch that documentary on Netflix, Fire, that party, you ever watch it?
Yeah.
Like that guy reminds me of myself. He didn't stop. Like I wouldn't throw a party with tents that fell apart and take people's money.
Sandwiches,
I wouldn't go to that extent, but that guy kept doing, right?
Yeah.
And you know what? He's getting paid for that Netflix documentary. When he's out of jail, he'll have some money waiting for him because he kept doing, right? So you got to keep doing in life, right? So we talked about that. So this is a great podcast. I like this a lot. So let's hit these folks with some good shots.
Take your shot, man.
Get them the Shotcast. You want to go first or you want me to go? Because I got a good shot.
You got it.
I got a good shot for you, right? So we talked about doing and we talked about preparing. I'm with both of them. I'm a preparation freak, but sometimes I could just go right off the top. If I'm busy and I got things to do and I'm confident and I know I could do something, I'll just go ahead and do it. So I'm in the middle of two. I'm with preparing, but I'm also with doing. But I'm going to give you a Shotcast for the preparation side of things. It's called the Miracle Morning. And no, I didn't create it. Tony Robbins created it. I wouldn't take the thunder from him. It goes along with your rituals. So the Miracle Morning, or it could be a Miracle Evening if you tell me I'm not a morning person. All right, Miracle Evening, whatever you want to call it. It's a formula, okay, a recipe that you could either do first thing in the morning or the last thing at night. If it's Miracle Evening, I actually created that because Tony Robbins don't talk about the evening. But let's just talk about the Miracle Morning. So think to yourself right now, what's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things in your life that you could do every single day that will set your day up for success? Just let that soak in for a second. What's 1 to 5 things that if you had the choice to wake up and get an hour or 2 hours to do a couple of things before you start your day every single day, if I gave you that choice right now, what would those things be? I don't care what it is. Just make sure that whatever it is, it's connecting you to having a better day and a more successful day. Okay, we're not talking about eating chips sitting on the couch, unless that gets you pumped up and running, or smoking marijuana, unless that gets you pumped up and running. But we're talking about things that get you pumped up and running. For example, for me, I've created my Miracle Morning, and I've done a lot of trial and error. But for me, if I wake up in the morning at 5 a.m., I wake up, I get my notebook out, write my goals down, write a list of gratitude of what I'm thankful for, write my plan for the day. That's the first step. The second step is I'll go to the gym right down here. I'll work out for 45 quick minutes, hit the sauna, and hit a cold shower. That would be the second step. The third step is I'll meditate here at home after I get dressed right before I go to work. That would be the third step. And the fourth step is I'll read a chapter of one of the books I'm reading or listen to an audible on the way to work. That would be the fourth step. By the time I get into work or by the time I get into my day, I'm a different kind of creature. Because these 3-4 things that I did, the working out, the cold shower, the reading, the meditating, and the writing down my goals and gratitude, it just aligned me with my purpose so deeply rooted into it that nothing's going to stop me that day. On opposed to days where I snooze and I wake up at 7:30 or 8 o'clock and I'm rushing in traffic with the losers in the highway, just cussing and coffee dripping and domino effect of a bad day, That day, I'm not a different kind of creature. I'm just a regular Joe Schmo kind of guy, just out there trying to execute on his day on a plan that he's already late on, you know? But on the days where I do that miracle morning, I'm a different kind of creature. I'm a different individual. I have strength that I don't usually have. I have powers that I usually don't have. And my mind is focused on another level. Everybody knows that I'm on that level when they see me because they can tell I'm on that level. And if you're not a morning person, then why don't you do it at night? Whatever it is for you. For me, like I said, if I don't do it in the morning, sometimes at night I go to the gym after work, take a cold shower, meditate, read a chapter, come down here with Lang, do a shotcast, and that's my evening, miracle evening for me to get my day or my night set up for success for the next day. So that would be my shotcast to you. Think to yourself right now, whether you're a morning person or whether you're a night person. If you could wake up an hour or two early, which by the way is more effective than if you wake up just 2 hours earlier than everybody else, 5 to 7, with nobody awake bothering you, you know that 5 to 7 is more valuable than like a 10 to 12
But
or a
that
10 to
snooze
2.
button is so nice, man.
It's beautiful. I hit it sometimes too. You snooze and do it in the evening. But as long as you do it once or the other. So my shot to you is think about those 3, 2, 1, 4, 5, whatever it is. Think about those things that if you could do them every single day, it'll set you up for success. Just to give you some examples, I have people that like to walk their dog. I have some people on my team that like to talk to their spouses, talk to their families. I have some people on my team that like to, smoke a cigar. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter what it is. Just what is it that sets you up for a good, successful day? Think about those things, and I promise you, execute on it. See how you are throughout that day. Reevaluate yourself, and you'll do it every single day because it's a secret to success. And that's my shot. What do you got
Good,
for
man.
us?
It's a good shot.
Yeah.
You got me fired up, like almost ready to start the morning. I
Hey,
haven't gone to sleep yet.
I'm gonna text you tomorrow at 5 p.m. and do this miracle morning. That's for sure.
I'm not smoking a cigar with you though at 5 a.m.
Yeah, no, we could do that in the evening.
All right, listen. My shot is, and obviously the topic that I talked about was sharing, and so we're middle of October, and in a couple months it'll be creeping up on middle of December, and we know what happens when it comes to January. There's these things called New Year's resolutions. And listen, I don't know how many people subscribe to them, but here's what I do know: it takes courage to talk about it. Most people would rather fail by themselves in private than in public, and so the sharing part is so integral. Um, Involving other people in your mission and in your journey is so important because these are things that you really care about. Even if you don't share them, it's important that um, if you're going to achieve some things that go 12 months or 6 months or whatever the deal is, man, you're going to have a rough day here and there. So you need to be courageous enough to let somebody in. And when you let them in and share something you really want to accomplish, that's right, the danger is you might fail. And they'll know about it. And the next time you see them, man, oh man, I get it. So but it's even deeper than that. The sharing is not only the big stuff. The sharing is the little things, and I'll tell you a quick story, and then I'll finish up my shot. But there was a gentleman that I was, let's call, working for. He was the big dog, the big wig, and I know he was super. Um, Man, he had really got it in, and most of the time I don't know what he's doing on the day to day. I know he's working hard, and he's running the company, and it's a company that I get to prosper in and have opportunity in. So I'm grateful. Um, and most of the time, you see him coming and going, but for some reason he shared with me what his day was like, and it was busy. I'm like, what are you talking about? And and he had a couple days of this, and he got through the days, and he was walking out one day, and he was shoulder slumped, and looked like he got run over by a truck. And I called out to him, and I'm just, one of the hundreds that worked there. I'm nobody super special. And I called out to him, and he turned around like, man, I'm gonna punch you if you ask me to do something. And he turned around reluctantly, and he said, Lang, and I said, hey man, good job today. I know what you went through, and I'm impressed. Thank you for fighting for us. And so, and he smiled a big smile, and he walked out, and I still remember that story, I don't know, 18 years later. And the reason is is because he shared with me what his 2-day event was like. And so I don't know if he realized that it had effect on me, but when I got home that day and my significant other asked me, "How was your day?" Man, I could have done 7 backflips right there because I knew I helped the main guy, the main leader. I made his day better. I know that he was not going to turn around. He didn't want to turn around, but all I did was compliment him, and I only got a chance to do that because I knew what he'd been through the last couple of days. And so, you're sharing, get involving other people. That got me more galvanized to the company that I'm in. So guess what? The next time I see adversity, I'm fighting that much harder because he shared with me what his journey was. So this is not just about you when you share. It's also about the other people that you get a chance to affect. So make sure you do that. Preparation, share, man, so important in the ultimate journey of the thing.
There we go. Those are your 2 shots, and this is episode 3 of Shotcast. Stay tuned for the next episode. We appreciate you all. Like, subscribe, share the content. We're doing this stuff for you. We want to be the channel that has some important stuff that gives you quick knowledge, get you moving forward in your life, and get a shot of that motivation. So we'll catch you on the next episode of Shotcast. Thanks so much for tuning in.